The Democrats said there was nothing to see in Benghazi. It was over. This is a waste of time looking into it. And this was found because of the Benghazi investigation.
Yes, and that's a very thank you for reiterating that, Ryan. Through that investigation, we found out that Hillary Clinton was not using a government email address. And you might say, "Oh, well, what's the big deal? Government email address." We have a Government Records Act where we need to have those things on record. We need to have all of the emails that go from person to person for freedom of information request reasons, for just having them on hand for reference reasons. And we don't have them because it was a private email that Hillary Clinton was using. It was her own private address that she was using. So we don't know who she was communicating with. We don't know any of these things as she was the Secretary of State. So that's what's really mind-boggling about this. It's been brought up that there were several countries who donated to the Clinton Foundation during her time as Secretary of State. We don't know what kind of emails she's had with those countries. We don't know the communication she had with those people, and what, if any, strings were attached to the money that went to her foundation. That's not something that we know, and we probably aren't ever going to know it because she is the one who controls her emails. We don't know. Some of them could be deleted, some of them could be gone, some of them were turned over. We don't know how many there were. We don't know what was the content of those emails, and this is a big deal because she violated laws that we have on hand, and it doesn't look good. It really doesn't look good. And even the left, I mean, the media is like, we can't defend this. This is a huge thing. She has to get out in front of this soon. Fishy points out in the chat that there's a pattern here. I mean, go back to Lois Lerner and the IRS and that debacle and all the IRS emails that were disappeared, and the even before that there was I can't remember where it was. There was a person in the Obama administration using a fake name on her email account. So there's like a real overwhelming sense that this is a theme here. This has been going on, and it's particularly, to me, interesting that this was from a administration that was going to be the most transparent ever. They have gone after whistleblowers, and they've done stuff like this to obfuscate the truth, what actually has gone on. It's mind-boggling that this was allowed to happen, and now, I mean, I don't know. I'm speechless that this was allowed to happen. I don't know who on their side was like, oh, hey, you know what? It's probably okay that Hillary doesn't have a government email account, that she just uses her private thing. I'm sure that's not going to come back and bite us. Who was the guy? Who was the genius that thought this was a good idea? And I don't know. I hope that we can make something of this because it stinks. Looking at it, it is awful. And we need to be talking about this a lot.
Okay, so 2 points here. Everyone, literally everyone in the administration knew that she was not using a government email account because they were emailing and receiving emails to and from her personal account.
Obviously.
So Obama knew, like everyone knew. They're all complicit in it. Second, it's also for security. Yeah, Gmail has great security, but not as well as the highest security level of the United States government.
It wasn't a Gmail though. It was her own. It was through her foundation or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just saying Google has good security, but the government's is better. And
I just want to point out that it was an EPA administrator that used the fake name. Thanks, Templeton the Rat, in the chat for remembering. I'm sorry, I knew it. I just was out of my mind. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Those were my 2 points. I mean, everyone knew about it, did nothing, and also it's more secure that way. That's another really important reason. She's Secretary of State. She has access to all kinds of secrets. She has access to troop movements, what was really happened in Benghazi. Like, for all we know, they hacked her email, and that's how they found out where and when everyone was going to be there and all that stuff. I mean, I really doubt it, but it's possible. And then also, like you point out, she's received hundreds of millions of dollars from terrorist groups and governments that fund terrorists while she was Secretary of the State. We need to see all of her emails to see what she was getting out of the deal.
Not one person in politics will ever support a policy like that. The left wants their voters, and the right wants people who will work for low wages, and at least in terms of the businesses that hire them. And those guys make campaign contributions and try to influence and lobby for legislation. They absolutely do. I've seen it here in Texas with some major businesses here. This is what they do.